Welcome back to The Angle, where multidimensional perspectives are revealed. And today, we're diving deep into the stories shaking the world. Middle East Cauldron, awaiting the storm's end. The latest developments indicate that the storm unleashed after the US and Israel attacked Iran will continue to have a profound impact on the Middle East, plunging the world deeper into instability. Furies spiral. According to Iranian media on March 11th, after more than 11 days, the US-Israeli Operation Fury has struck 10,000 civilian sites, causing numerous casualties. Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, and several senior officials have been killed. In Israel, at least 13 people have died and 2,000 have been injured. Meanwhile, the Pentagon reports 8 soldiers killed and around 150 others wounded. Notably, at least 486 people in Lebanon have died due to Israeli retaliatory strikes following Hezbollah's attacks on Israeli territory in a show of support for Iran. Casualties have also occurred in Iraq, Syria, the United Arab Emirates, UAE, Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, Kuwait, and Oman, following Iranian attacks on US bases in these countries. Numerous key infrastructure facilities, from military bases to civilian structures, have been destroyed. The flames of conflict have not only spread across the entire region, but have also negatively impacted global growth and stability. The blockade of the Strait of Hormuz, a crucial choke point for 1/5 of the world's crude oil traffic, and the fact that the Middle East, home to the world's leading oil exporters, is engulfed in flames, have led to supply shortages and a sharp surge in oil prices. The 50% increase in crude oil prices after 11 days, surpassing the $100 mark for the first time in 4 years, has caused hardships for people in many parts of the world. According to Mark Zandi, chief economist at Moody's Analytics, the global gross domestic product, GDP, could decrease by up to 0.4% if oil prices remain at $85 to $90 per barrel in the coming period. Capital Economics, a UK-based analysis firm, is even more pessimistic, suggesting that the consequences of the conflict, including severe damage to oil production infrastructure and the blockade of the Strait of Hormuz, will keep oil prices in the triple digits throughout 2026. No concessions. The escalating conflict is causing severe consequences for the Middle East region and the entire world. The top priority now is to immediately cease hostilities, de-escalate tensions, and seek a peaceful solution. However, there are currently no signs that the parties involved are ready to make concessions. Recently, the US has deployed B-52 strategic bombers to a military base in the UK, aiming to further increase the frequency and intensity of bombings against key Iranian infrastructure. The Pentagon affirms its determination to gain control of the Strait of Hormuz by destroying 16 Iranian mine-laying vessels. Simultaneously, in the early hours of March 11th, Israel launched its second large-scale attack since February 28th on Tehran and the suburbs of Beirut, Lebanon. Previously, on March 10th, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC, struck US bases with Khorramshahr missiles. The Israel Defense Forces, IDF, also accused the Iranian military of using cluster munitions in their earlier attacks on Israeli territory. The parties are also maintaining hardline stances in the media arena. US President Donald Trump expressed his dissatisfaction with Mojtaba Khamenei becoming Iran's new supreme leader, emphasizing that Operation Fury is progressing beyond expectations and that the conflict is almost complete. However, just hours later, he threatened to attack 20 times harder if Tehran dares to block ships through the Strait of Hormuz. Nevertheless, President Trump currently affirms that he is not considering the possibility of US troops landing in Iran, which could push the current conflict into a much more intense phase. Meanwhile, Israeli Foreign Minister Gideon Sa'ar asserts that Israel and Washington will only end the conflict at a time that we and our partners deem appropriate. While emphasizing that they are not seeking a prolonged war, the diplomat still highlighted the goal of working towards eliminating, in the long term, the existential threat posed by Iran to the State of Israel. Ultimately, however this ultimate test of strength and will in the Middle East, this land of fire, concludes, the repercussions such as violence, instability, economic downturn, and the erosion of trust will undoubtedly continue to plague the world for some time to come. Vantor on March 11th show 3 large breaches in the roof of the Pentagon 2 building. This facility, which houses equipment for testing small-scale explosions designed to simulate nuclear weapon detonations, is located within the Parchin military complex, approximately 30 kilometers southeast of the Iranian capital, Tehran. In earlier images, the Parchin complex had been struck, but the Pentagon 2 building remained intact. It is unclear which weapons struck the structure, but the holes in the Pentagon 2 roof are generally similar to the damage observed at the Fordow and Natanz nuclear facilities after the U.S. dropped a series of GBU-57/BMOP bunker buster bombs on the area in June 2025. The U.S. Central Command, CENTCOM, which is responsible for U.S. military operations in the Middle East, declined to comment on whether the U.S. dropped GBU-57/B bombs on the Pentagon 2 facility. The only aircraft certified to carry the GBU-57/B is the B-2 bomber, which has been involved in the conflict since the first night of the current hostilities. The Pentagon 2 building does not appear to be as deeply buried as the Natanz and Fordow facilities, which are considered nuclear fortresses. However, this site was also reinforced by Iran with a concrete casing and earth cover before the conflict erupted. This may be the reason why the U.S. decided to use the GBU-57 bomb, commented Joseph Trevivic, editor of the U.S. military specialist site Warzone. The GBU-57 MOP is 6 meters long, has a body diameter of 0.8 meters, and weighs nearly 14 tons. It is the heaviest non-nuclear bomb and the second largest in the U.S. arsenal by size. The U.S. Air Force has previously stated that the GBU-57 can penetrate up to 60 meters of material before detonating, but did not specify the type of material. Analysts at the UK-based defense publication IHS Janes estimate it can penetrate 60 meters of earth or 18 meters of reinforced concrete. Israel has previously stated that the GBU-57 is the only weapon capable of penetrating the Fordow nuclear fortress. The Pentagon declared the June 2025 campaign against Iranian nuclear facilities a resounding success, but the actual results of the attack remain a subject of debate. U.S. experts have also suggested Washington may have used another tactic in the attack, such as dropping multiple smaller bunker buster bombs sequentially on the same point to create a tunnel, thereby causing internal damage. CENTCOM has previously confirmed deploying B-2 bombers to drop 900-kilogram bunker buster bombs on deeply buried targets in Iran. The conflict erupted on February 28th, when the U.S. and Israel launched attacks on Iran, prompting Tehran to retaliate with strikes on military targets and energy infrastructure in several Middle Eastern countries. Approximately 2,000 people have been killed, including over 1,300 in Iran and more than 600 in Lebanon, during 11 days of fighting. That wraps it up for The Angle. Thanks for watching. See you next time.